Well, good evening. No football tonight, so actually, you've got some really good reasons for not actually, um, not actually stuck in front of the TV. In fact, so I've got an amazing guest tonight. But before we get to him, we're going to talk about a few things that are coming up in the coming weeks. So, of course, as you know, Flux exhibition, 25th to 28th of July, 206 Marylebone Road, tickets Eventbrite. I don't know how many tickets are actually left for the private view, if any, but you can jump on Eventbrite and actually find those. The last one, 1,000 people were there, so it's probably a very good idea to jump on and get a ticket if there are some actually left. It's on for 4 days, so 25th to 28th of July, right across the Marylebone Road area. So you can find it, jump on the tube, get there, probably Great Portland Street to walk from there, and it's perfect to get to. 80 artists. I think there might even be a few more than that this time, but at least you'll have a huge selection of work. And the next thing, of course, is to just tell you that next week it's a photographer, um, Maria Mora. She's currently traveling, and so on her way back next week, she will just arrive in time to do the show. Now, next week's on the Wednesday, not the Thursday. We've got an election going on the Thursday, and I'm escaping that, so I won't be around on the Thursday, which is why I'm doing it on the Wednesday. So this will be very, very interesting because Maria actually photographs, obviously, as you can see there, tulips in Amsterdam. Reminds me of an old song. And then, of course, the following week, even more interesting as well than anything we've done before, because this is Maria Vasquez, who is a photographer, but she is showing her work because she is a self-portrait artist. So she has a huge amount of work which she's showing. And again, this will be at Flux, and it will. Looking forward to interviewing her to ask her a lot of questions. Some is there any water in that bath? But it'll be very interesting to find out what she's got up her sleeve for us in a couple of weeks' time. And that's back on the Thursday. So Thursday, the 11th of July, is Maria Vasquez. So back to tonight's guest. He's a poet, an artist, and a filmmaker. And we're going to get to the bottom of how come that's what he does. How did he fall into it? And before we get onto that, I've created a video of his artwork, and this will give you an indication of what Paulo is actually like. Always helps when you're straightening the picture behind you that you leave the camera on and everybody can know that you've just kicked another one on the floor. Oh dear. Well, let's get the man in and we can have a good chat. He's good fun, and I'm sure you're all going to enjoy it. What a wally. Paolo,
Hi, Gary.
how are you? Are you good?
I'm fine. Yeah, all good. And you?
Yes, very good. Thank you.
Excellent,
Uh,
excellent.
that wasn't very helpful of me to. I just could see in the background behind me that that picture wasn't straight, so I needed to straighten it. Start to draw my eye to it. So, look, here we are. He's a filmmaker, poet, and artist. So the kind of things that obviously spring to mind straight away to me is which came first.
First, it was painting, yes,
Painting. Yeah.
and I would say, a few months later, then writing. Yes, very early age. Very early age. I live in Africa, in Angola,
Hmm.
and I would say uh, maybe my oldest memory goes back as age maybe 3, 4, and yes, painting. Yeah,
Yeah.
painting,
So.
and I start writing very early as well because my parents, we live in a poor area, and
Mhm.
my parents, we had a neighbor, and she couldn't read or write, and she used to get letters from Portugal. The husband, he was a policeman, and she had to hide the letters from the husband. And my mother, she also couldn't read and write. And so I was the one who had to read the letters and write the answers, the letters back and to send to Portugal, of course. And I remember the letters always start same way. Say, for example, it was like this: dear mother, dear father, everything here is fine. And the reason because of that, because by the time Portugal was under dictatorship, and because the husband, he was as a policeman, he should not disclose, he should not disclose any kind of information that could be intercepted by I don't know, but that's the way things were by the time. And I remember that. Years later, a Portuguese famous director, he done a movie exactly the same, that classic, that phrase, "Dear mother, everything is fine." Or, well, in
Oh,
free
okay. Yeah,
translations,
yeah,
yes, more or less like that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
So,
that
I,
started you writing as well, did it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And she used to pay me for that. Funny enough, yeah,
But
she used to give me a
you
quite.
could have. So really and truly, you could have told her that anything that was in that letter, you could have just made it up, couldn't you? Really?
Yeah, I could. The only thing I struggled is because she have no notion when should be another paragraph. Just talk, 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 talk.
Yeah, yeah.
So very early age. That's funny enough because my way of writing, not thinking about that, starts at that time because I don't use punctuation.
Right.
Because what's the point of punctuation? If you use a space, the space uh, large is the space between the words, bigger is the silence, and that gives the notion of space, time, and highlights the meaning of what was just wrote or said in this case, because
Okay.
she told me,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's very interesting. Think about that. I never thought about that. But yes, yes, because for her was like taking tell me what to write, and I have to follow her, and I have to say slow down. I couldn't follow her, and that was very interesting because yes, what was the point of exclamation marks and all the other punctuation marks? So what's the point of it? If you use this space, you work much better, and I don't know, and it
Good.
worked well. I mean, and we done that until we moved to a better house. And yes, painting first, yes, of course, but more or less at the same time writing as well. I went to school at the age of 5, and by then I was able to write. Yeah.
Now, how would you say your has how much has your painting changed in all the time that you've been painting? Have you always been, we've had a discussion beforehand to say
Mm.
your kind of work, what would you class it as? And you kind of almost class it as your work rather than giving it a specific, whether it's abstract or it's whatever. You don't class yourself in a bracket, and that's because your work is so um, different from what you do. I mean, we're going to have some examples come up in a second, and we're going to talk about those. But I just was interested to know how much you think your work has changed over however many years it is you've been an artist.
Uh, s- well, I think it is important to learn to do well first in order to do or to break the boundaries after. So if you don't learn the technique,
Mm,
how can you create? How can you break all the boundaries and come with something new? No, first you need to learn properly. But as I said to you, I was very young, and of course, I self learned how to paint and everything. But one thing has been on throughout my entire life as a painter is the colors. The colors are always, or most of the times, very strong, unless if I have a subject to tell, a story to tell, and then
hmm
I will adjust that colors to the
mm,
subject. But yes, colors are very important for me, especially when you live in a place like Angola, Africa. There's colors everywhere.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You cannot ignore the colors, can you?
No, of course not.
Uh,
No.
and plus, there it's only two seasons. It's the rain season and dry season. It's not like here in UK you have four seasons. Well, it's supposed to be like that. But you cannot
Yeah.
ignore the colors. As colors are extremely important for me, and of
Mm,
course, since very early age, I realized that, and that never change, never change. Of course, my technique reached a high point when I was maybe 15, 16. I pay my own art course sent by post, and I used to do it indoors and send back to the school. By
mm,
that time, we didn't have this online things to be everything by
no.
post.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but I learned a lot. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I used to do copies of the classics. I remember to do works copying Renoir, Rembrandt,
Ah. Mm,
sometimes Dali. I used to paint Dali in porcelain plates, which is a very interesting thing to do, or very bad as well, because can you imagine do one copy of that watches Salvador Dali done or other ones in a normal plate, normal porcelain plate using oil. That
oh,
will take absolute ages to dry. So
not
then I
dry.
thought, hold on
Yeah.
a second. Hold on a
Yeah.
second, must be a way to sort out this problem. And I asked my mother for hair spray, and using the spray, I speed the dry process, and I used to sell them. People used to love that things.
Wow.
Yeah.
But am I right in saying that you're now majority of your work now is acrylic?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's majority is acrylic, but even that I'm free mind person. I mean, I use whatever I need. If I think I need nail varnish to do something, I'll go and get the nail varnish. If I think I need something, plastic or in order to create a recyclable subject, I'll do that. I mean, as a paint, you can do that. So it's no limits for. I use whatever I need, but basically, yes, I'm a member of a very honorable UK organization called the National Acrylic Paint Association. I'm a member of that since 1998, and it's perhaps the most well-known acrylic association in UK. Very good. We do our annual show every year. We done a few months ago, and yes, but it's acrylic. Yes,
Yeah.
the paintings. Yes.
And what about the filmmaking? And let's if I call up the slides, it's going to jump onto the one that I had before because I have to move it on. But
Mhm.
and I'm gonna do it like this so that we're beside it. So in the first one, you're at the Cannes Festival,
Mhm.
and in the second one, you're acting. So can we have a little bit of a chat about how those two events came about?
Yeah, it's such an amazing was such an amazing experience because I'm not very much in computers and cameras. I never was. It's not my kind of thing. But in 2011, I think I got an email from Arts Association asking if I want to be part of a competition, which was to write a story and do a short movie.
Hmm.
And in that night, I created in my head, of course, I created that idea in French, French language. I create the story, and the following day, I asked one of my friends, which is a great Portuguese guy. He's a very good filmmaker. If I could borrow his camera, and he looked at me surprised, and he said, "What for?" And I said, "I just need the camera. I have an idea to do a short movie." He couldn't believe it. He said, "No way, you don't know how to work out with the camera. You don't like neither." I said, "Yeah, that's true." But I got this idea, and they asked me to expand more. And from there, the movie he made he direct the movie. I was part of the acting as well with
Hmm.
another Portuguese actress. And the reason why it was in French because she born in France, and we went to a studio, and we filmed there. And from there, I quite enjoyed the experience. Mind you, just let you know, the movie was selected and shown as the award was to show the movie in the big screen in the proper cinema, and that
Ah.
the movie was selected. And from there, I said to this my friend, I want to learn more. And this guy from America. He was coming to Portugal to Algarve University. His name is Matt Simber,
Hmm.
and was an amazing experience. I learned so much from him. Especially because he's one of the top directors in Class B movies in America. A very good friend of Quentin Tarantino. He knows all about how to make movies, or I would say how
Mm.
to make Class B movies. It's quite a particular kind of movies.
Yeah.
And he got a nomination, 15 Rotten Tomatoes, but but I found quite hilarious, quite funny, and I learned so much from him. And during the filmmaking course, I wrote a movie and called Spray, and we filmed that, and that Matsima still use that movie in America to teach to the master classes or workshops and show the Americans how to do a movie with no budget at all because we had no budget. We have we had a good story and so and from there I went to Lisbon and Lusofna University to learn more about and that was a very interesting masterclass because it was about how important is art in movies. Just about that, and the guy who done that was his name was Ian Arlen. Ian Arlen was the executive producer of some movies of Spielberg and Kubrick, and that was really interesting because me as an artist, it was very important to listen for someone like him. First comes the creativity, and then comes the technique.
Right.
And that is extremely important. And I have so many discussions, so many talking. Sometimes even just you know, people don't realize it's not about the technique; it's about what you have in your mind, or what about your
Exactly.
capacity
Exactly.
to create. That's the main thing. You need to have, and from there, you have to jump on time because between one thing and the other, I
Yeah.
went to London Film Academy in Fulham. And then I wrote. I didn't really write anything because that was all in my mind. I didn't have to. I done a short movie called Philip, and that movie was selected by. I sent to, mind you, first I sent the movie for competition in the Sundance, UK. Yes, Sundance, UK. There is one Sundance in America, which is was Roberto De Niro who started the first this idea of Sundance Festival, but because this Sundance UK was just for people residents in UK, and I was in Portugal, they found out my computer IP was from abroad, and they declined the movie. And
Oh,
I thought to myself, this doesn't matter. I'm going to send to Cannes, and I was selected to Cannes Festival, and I went there, and it was a very interesting experience, very, 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 very interesting.
hmm,
Very interesting.
brilliant.
Only 5 minutes of movie. It's no more than 5 minutes, black and white. The shooting time was uh, eight, no, 7, 8 hours. Yes, with a break.
Yeah.
Yes, of shooting all that hours. I condensate that on in 5 minutes only, and extremely hard process. Uh, you dream about it. It is playing your mind all the time, wherever you do, wherever you are. The movie is there in your head, and it's just get you absolutely mad.
Yeah, I
But
can see that.
yeah,
Now,
mm,
the next set of pictures is some different work to one than what you're going to be having at Flux, but I definitely want to talk about this because um, on uh, on the left hand side of the screen is it's a live art. Well, would you call it a performance? What would you call it? Because
yes,
this is,
yes,
yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
a
yeah.
live art performance where you have, I believe, well, you tell me about it because but I've asked you a few questions at the beginning, right before we actually kicked off, and said, "Don't tell me any more," because there is a story behind this. So, over to you.
Yes, this is another crazy thing. Perhaps one of the best performance I've done. Uh, we done. Unfortunately, the ladies inside the plastic. That plastic comes from the ceiling. It's with the shape of making like a square, and
Hmm.
she's inside. Sadly, she passed away a few months ago. We were very good friends. Perhaps was the person I could work better with this live performance. Sometimes working without a safe net, just say,
Okay.
let's do it.
Yeah.
And she was brilliant. She was absolutely brilliant. A very good friend of mine. This one in particular, called Blue Shower. As you can see, I had a blue dressing gown, and I suppose I have nothing underneath, but I did just in case. This was in art gallery. Again, this was very. Everything was very quick, creative process. I wrote like a poem test, some sort of in Portuguese, but with some French and some English words.
Okay.
And for some reason, I like to mix different language. If in my head makes sense to say something in Spanish, why not? Uh, I don't see why shouldn't. So this was you can see two cans of paint, but in the other corner was more paint, and this side was more and more paint. And so and I had I paint to use both hands. I can do that. Some
Okay.
things I do with left hand, some things I do with right hand. And she started reading something that was a gallery full of people, and the
Ah.
people uh, stop talking, and then they start paying attention what she was saying. First mumbling, she was talking very quietly, and people start paying attention, then start raise her voice, and then she walk inside that square of plastic, like a curtain, like square curtains, and she walked inside it, and then she didn't stop reading or saying what was the story about, and then I come from nowhere, and I start painting. It's just all blue,
Mm,
different blues, and I start moving around. In the end, uh, I was the creator and she was the my creation. In the end, we changed the process, and she literally not killed me, but she done a very straightforward movement, like she was striking, and then he swap. I went inside the plastic uh, area, and she come out of it, and I fell down on the floor, and then she walked away, and that was the end of the performance. Why this? Because as an artist, I think many times what you create overtakes the creator. Your creation
Yeah, yeah.
uh, gains their own its own life,
Its own
and
life. Yeah, absolutely.
and it just cannot control anymore. And the best thing to do, that's what I've always been doing. Let go. And once you create, once you sign it, you put your name and date, that doesn't belong to you anymore. Belongs to the person who likes most, or
Yeah.
because I need space in my head to move ahead, to move forward and do something else, because I have a long list of things to do.
I
I need to be free.
I think there's a lot
Uh,
of people who wish they
uh,
had space in their head, to be honest. Um, most people these days don't have any space in their head because life is just so busy. But
yeah,
I can relate to what you're saying, especially about the fact that I think I get to a point with my work where my work controls me, not the other way around. And
you
that's
feel about
just the
that?
direction your brain goes in, I think, too.
Yeah.
But so
What?
what about the other picture here, the wire
Yeah.
one?
That one is a new series of work.
Hmm.
Not a new, it's about 4 or 5 years. There are 6, 7, I think.
Okay.
They're in South Korea. That was for an exhibition called "When the Stars Shine." The Captain's Wise. I create this event with a very well-known Korean artist, and this one in particular calls "Don't Shout," because it's very minimalist. It's iron, and show this was made. No, was less than that. Was during the pandemic time. Yes, because during the pandemic time, the time we all live, I realize again and again and again, people don't talk, they don't listen,
No,
or if they talk in different directions. They don't face to each other, and so one side represents the one who is shouting, or he or she, it depends. And the other side is the one who tries to talk. Um, as you
it's
can see,
so
yeah.
this is interesting because I've got a thing about how important is the title of a picture, and I think the title is absolutely vitally important because until you said the title, or the minute you said the title of that work, straight away you can see it. The title is there to help you understand what the artist is trying to convey. That's my view. And I think the minute you said "don't shout," you can see straight away that's exactly what's happening, which is brilliant. We've got some. Right, so this is the work that you're actually showing at Flux, I believe, and and now there is, without question, there is a story behind this. And again, when we did the tech check the other night, I said to you, please don't tell me what that story is. Um, but the story, again, title being absolutely vital. Now, we went through these a few times, and I'm hoping I've got them in the right order this time. I kept writing numbers down because that's just happened to be how they were sitting in my on my computer. So, hope I've got the right way around. But this is a series of 5 pictures, and each one has its title that goes with it. And first of all, um, Where did the idea of the series actually come from?
This is yeah, it comes. I mean, you cannot avoid the news, even if you don't watch too much telly. You cannot avoid it. Every single month, a woman is killed or a victim of violence, or
Hmm.
I'd say every month, I'd say every week, maybe every day. I don't know.
Every
Who
day,
knows? And
absolutely every day. Yeah.
yes, and so this series of 5 works is just about that. It's about
Right.
the name is Stop Violence Against Women.
Ah,
And now you know.
yeah.
Now you know why the titles.
Now
Yes,
I know why the titles. Yeah, unbelievable.
yes, yes. And
So
then
this comes also back to the thing about which I've said a few times, which is you you go to an exhibition, and sometimes the artist will stand next to their work and not actually talk to anybody. And often it's purely because they don't know what to say, or they're embarrassed, or somebody said to me a few years ago, I like to let my art do the talking. Truth of the matter is, it doesn't. And actually, when you explain what is behind this series of pictures, suddenly the penny drops. Suddenly you can understand where you've got your which direction your brain is actually going in. So the first one, I couldn't tell anyone. Um, is this series about somebody you know, or is it just about women in general who are abused or attacked?
is human in general, but I know 2 cases of women being a victim of violence. Yes,
Okay.
but the series is far more than that, because this is an epidemic problem. It's not just
Hmm.
single in UK. It happens everywhere in
Oh,
some other
I
countries.
know. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And other
so
countries
mm,
quite severe as well.
yes, the
Certain
important
countries quite severe.
yeah, the important thing in this series, the first 4 paintings, is also what I used. The material I used for the first 4 is raw linen. Why raw linen? Why did I use canvas? Well, because it's a very simple reason. Most of the the first clues of something is about the weapon. It starts in the bed. It starts. Uh, First, the women are almost victim of the charm and politeness and whatever, and then become physical. And in order to highlight what crossed my mind, I had to use whole linen, because
Right.
if you think, perhaps the best thing you can have in a bed, more comfortable, is linen. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe
So
silk. I don't know.
so when you're using raw linen, do you actually prep it, or do you go straight onto the raw linen with your start painting straight away, or do you prep it in any way?
No, 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 no. That would be kind of cheating, because if you want to use whole linen, then you're going to put something over it. No, you shouldn't do that. I mean, otherwise you are cheating yourself. No, we cannot do that. So I went straight to the whole linen, and from there I create each painting tells a part of the problem, and the
Right.
last one shows the outcome of the 4 paintings I done first.
Mm, mm.
Yes, yes,
Okay. So
because
we have. Sorry, go on.
if you pay attention, this the when I introduce the blue, so the blue it normally is related to the male, girls pink, boys blue. So if you can see the first one as 2 eyes, and then
Yeah.
the black, and then this one in here.
Yeah.
Also, we can see the eyes, and then the forms I try to create. So Yes, the palette in this case was very reduced to a bit of red and white and a bit of blue and black and no more than that. And different kind of paintings, yes, not
Hmm.
just acrylic, other sorts of paintings, because I need to create that kind of effect in order to give to highlight the idea of to be a bad shit,
Yeah,
where the problems start, and
yeah, 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 yeah.
and so that's why I need to get again. I have no problem to go and get a different kind of paint, not just acrylic, if I need that to show what I have in my mind, and that's what I done.
So, what sort of size are these
It's
paintings?
70 by 70,
70 by 70. Okay, that's
exact.
centimeters rather than inches,
Yes,
of course.
yes. Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, if they were 70 inches, wow, that's some painting. But 70 by 70 centimeters, that's a good size too. It's I think also it's quite important that when people come to buy pictures, if you've got a huge big wall and you want a great huge painting on that wall, fine. A lot of people haven't, but a lot of people certainly would have room for 70 by 70, and I think that's a very good size of picture to paint. Let's move on to the next
Mhm.
two in the series. So we've already had jump back. We've already had I couldn't tell anybody, and then I
Yes,
didn't know. Then we had I had nowhere to go, and I thought it was my fault. So it
yes,
almost it is you're unless I'm wrong, but it feels like you're telling that story from her point of view.
that's right.
Yeah,
Exactly that. That's
yeah,
right, Gary. That's exactly
yeah,
that's all is about. I have to forget about myself, and
yeah,
which is a quite interesting, creative exercise. I do that anyway.
yeah.
That's me, to look from outside of myself and thinking, why doing this, Paulo? Why thinking this? What It's a very and the first one, yes, it's like a grief process.
Yeah.
First you feel surprised, then you have no one to share because you feel ashamed, then you feel all that process is idea. Of course I
Mm,
could done more. I could in fact it did cross my mind to do another two, but I I stay by with five, but it could be more. It could be more because
yeah.
the process of from the point of view of the victim is far more complex than me as a man
Mm.
can even
So
imagine.
so
Yeah.
when you are working on these, and I asked this question of a lot of artists actually, are you just working on one at a time, or do you have four or five on the go at the same time? Um, or and also when you first come up with the idea for a series like this, do you actually know what each picture you're going to paint looks like? Have you got that in your head? Or do you sketch a few ideas out, or do you actually go straight into creating the work?
That's a very interesting question. Very very interesting question because that defines, in my point of view, uh, the the fine line of what is, in my point of view, uh, when starts a piece of art be a piece of art and not just decoration, or because the point is, if you have an idea, you have a very short period of time to put that idea into place. Otherwise, when you back the following day or the following week or the following month to the same idea, it's not already anymore the first idea.
No,
So
no,
again, from my point of view, you're not being honest with yourself. So
right, yeah, yeah,
that's why I create this very fast way of painting, because I need to get rid of that idea as quick as I can. Otherwise, it will be not pure.
mm,
If I wait too long, or if I wait, or if I let, sometimes I need to let dry. because that's the problem.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah, yeah,
problem. Yeah,
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
problem for the
Which
things.
is, I think, I mean, I've spoken when I spoke to Michelle Watson a couple of weeks ago, and I've spoken to Leslie Oldacre in the past, and I know both of those will have four or five paintings on the go at once, because drying for a start is an issue, but and also they want to keep painting and keep working. I just find it interesting how uh, if you have a series like this in your head, uh, if you don't, if you're working on the whole series at once, it could be quite, it could almost be quite difficult to separate them in your head, if that makes sense. So that
Right.
you don't want, say, I had nowhere to go, to be necessarily influencing, I thought it was my fault, or either of the two pictures that we've just seen. So I think it's, yeah, it's really fascinating, actually. And I can
Yeah.
see, now again, it's funny, the other night when we did the tech check, and I said to you at the time, look, don't tell me anymore. I asked you a few questions. I read the titles, thought this was something different. Now you've explained it, completely understand it, absolutely understand it, and I can see so much more in the paintings than I had seen without talking to you. And I think that, again, it's a vital thing, that when people are coming to an exhibition, that they actually talk to the artist and actually
Yes.
understand the artist's work, and understand, because people are buying into you as an artist as well as your work. So this is, yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. And
Yeah. Yeah.
and you do the more, also, I've noticed this too, the longer you look at these two images in particular, because that's what are on the screen, the more you see, the
That's
more
right.
that you get
Yes.
almost pulled into the work, which I think is absolutely amazing.
Yes, it's very,
Um,
that is very, very interesting. You saying that because in my, not just painting, in all art I do, because uh, it's always, first of all, I have to amuse myself. Otherwise, I get bored very quick. I have so many ideas to do next. Why should I do that one if I don't have fun? But this one was a very serious subject. But I still have to enjoy what I'm doing.
yeah,
And so I done the 4 pages at the same time. Last one I didn't. And so in a minute you're gonna show the last one.
yeah,
But the thing is, like in the movies, like in the poetry, like in the ceramics, like in installations, everything is always more than you think. This is the kind of work people say, Paulo. The other day I looked at the painting or the ceramic or whatever I got from you, and I saw this. Is that my imagination? I said no, and it was there. Perhaps your imagination is also put an input on that because that's the purpose of art, is to open up
yeah,
the people's minds.
yeah,
A painting is not, and movies even better. Movies is completely open process
mm,
of present the artwork,
mm,
but the painting, sometimes people think it's a closed thing. No, why should be? No,
mm,
it should trigger on the viewer the right emotions or hunger. It doesn't matter. They should trigger the emotions or the imagination in order for the viewer to see other things didn't see
yeah,
the first time.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and that happen all the time with my works. I'm looking to myself, I'm looking, and yes, I done this a while ago, and yeah, it's full of it, full of little things to discover. Yeah.
So do you also, if you come back looking to, and we're going to come on to the last one as well. In fact, I'll move on to the last one in the series. But do you also, when you come back to look at your work, maybe a few years later, do you also see something that wasn't so perhaps obvious at the time? Is there? Do you think, or do you know exactly what there is? Because I can tell you now that some of my work, I will come back to it, and then I think, wow, didn't notice that in the background. and because obviously mine's photographic, so when I'm working so much on the actual part of the story in the picture that I'm trying to tell. There could be something in the background where I've taken my street or whatever it is that I didn't notice, and I've even had someone point something out to me that I think, okay, I can't explain that because I don't know what that's even doing there. So and it's a different. I appreciate it's different for you, but I wonder whether whether sometimes you think, okay. I can see why I did that. I can see why I put those little elements in there. And so this is the last. This is the last one in the series. Her name was Charlie W. Um, and again, this is another one that I've looked at a number of times now because I've put the slideshow together, I put the video together, and I've had a good chat with you. And this is another one where you see things in the picture that suddenly you think, okay, I didn't see that when I looked at that last time, and that's got now has a different meaning to than the one I thought it was. So let's have a little explanation from you to guide people looking at this image.
Yes, yeah, this one is tells what it tells exactly what happens. Most of the times, the person was murdered. So
Right,
her name was she unfortunately was that she was killed by the lover or husband or boyfriend or
right, yeah,
and that's and but the guy didn't went that far because the tragic death of someone we cannot live anymore. But you see that lines, that black lines, he was
yeah,
caught by the police. He
yes. I was
prison.
about
He's
to
in
say that.
prison.
Yeah,
He's in prison.
yeah,
Yeah, he's
yeah.
in prison.
You can see that. Yeah.
Like
So it almost, yeah, I mean, it's got dungeon vibes about it, hasn't it? It's definitely got that feeling that he's in prison because, but also you've got that sort of spectre looking coming over
that's
the
right.
top. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
but
really cool.
you see the pink again. Again, pink
Yeah,
linked to and it's there. So if you, that's it. Well, your question some minutes ago was your comment was very interesting because most of the times uh, I look to like you do look to the works and think, "Actually, was me you done this? I can't believe I done this." And if you think if you back again to the beginning of that blue shower performance, so
yeah,
that happened to you and happened to me and happened to other artists for one simple reason. You as a creator had lost the control of your creation. Your creation overtook your position and your power, and your creation become far more important than you as a creator.
mm,
You does don't doesn't matter. You don't matter anymore. But your creation will live longer than you,
yeah,
and that is why you feel you feel, oh, what's this? I didn't see this. I didn't maybe I didn't intend to do that, but you did.
yeah,
You did. You did. You
yeah,
just didn't think about because you was under the spell of your creation,
yeah,
and it's very that performance was about that. But it shows we artists we have that problem. The problem is many times our artwork overtakes us,
mm,
and if there are genuine artworks, if there are very humble way of creative process, and if you're not concerned about nothing else, then just get rid of emotions and traumas or good experience could be as well,
yeah, yeah,
because painting is about to be, this thing is important. When you write, you are back to yourself. It's a very introspective way of create something. When you paint, you open up. You you
mm,
you when you do ceramics, you are playing like a kid. You can create a form and again and again and again and again and again. When you do something, it's like urban art as a purpose for recycled clothes or for the thing, when you do acting, you are enjoying yourself. You are you're having fun or not. It depends the story, but you enjoy yourself. When you do a movie, it's all there. It's all there because it's the most complete form of art, in my point of view. And
But if
they're
you're
all
if you're
beautiful.
doing but if you're doing anything that is creative, you're enjoying yourself.
Oh yes,
If you are a creative person, it doesn't
yeah,
matter no matter what you're doing. If it's creative, you are enjoying yourself without question. And I've
yeah,
look, I'm a musician, music, art, all of that for me. Anything that is, and I've always been like it ever since I was a kid. I've always been a creative. That's been my thing. And I think that sometimes it just takes you that little bit longer, maybe sometimes, to find your actual, this is it. This is your light bulb moment. This is the thing that really sets it off. And we had a chat about this before we came on air, which was that the thing for me is inspiring people to go and try something. Why get to an age where you're sitting in an old people's home looking out the window thinking, why didn't I do that? If you've got something inside you, whether it's writing a piece of poetry, writing a book, painting, music, whatever it is, don't leave it too late. Don't keep making excuses. Oh, life, oh, I'm too busy. All those excuses. Don't do that. Actually be a bit selfish and go and do it. Because again, as we said earlier, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is you learn something, and
yes,
and you don't just learn something about any particular technique you might need to use. You learn something about yourself, and that is where it it's where this comes from. It's where this art or the films you're making or the poetry, it's you. It's not anybody else. It's coming from you. You're the creative person that has the ideas to put these things together. And all right, we all know that art is subjective, and we know that there are people that might not necessarily like what what the artist has done. But
mm,
the worst thing someone can do to me is not actually look. If they
yes.
walk past and don't look, whereas if they turned round to uh, we got a couple of comments actually. I'm going to show these. So first of all, Lisa, who runs the exhibition, she said right at the start, "I'm looking forward to this." And then I don't know who I don't know who this is, but there is a chance it's a relative.
It's my daughter.
Oh,
She's
your
in Lisbon.
daughter, right? So
Yes.
your daughter is now saying he's the greatest artist ever. So
Let me just tell this funny story. When she was uh, 6 or 7, I had this art exhibition, and there was quite a few people, it was about 70 people, 80 people maybe. And then I was talking to the mayor, explained to him you know, all that kind of things you have to do when you have someone important like a mayor. And then I realized most of the people was following my daughter because she was explaining what I done. My dad
yeah,
done this because of that. This is about this, and like I don't know how many people. I was almost all them that followed. They pay more attention to her than they
yeah,
pay attention to
yeah.
me. That was so funny. It was really really funny. I
Well, I
love her.
think, but look, this is another thing that you inspire. There you go. She's put true. um, but I think this is again as artists, I feel that it is our job to inspire other people, particularly uh, our our children. In my case, my grandchildren. I mean, I've all of my grandchildren. I've got 5, and all of them are heavily art orientated. whether it's sculpture or whether it's drawing or painting, they've been like that. And actually, that almost certainly comes down the line from my father, because he was an artist as well. And it seems that creativity and that is inbred in our family. And I think it's our job as
Mhm.
parents to actually encourage that, because
That's
no one
right.
else is going to. No one else is going to do that.
Hmm.
And it's our job to encourage it. And I think so. Um, what I was about to talk about was Flux. I think I'm right in saying this is the first time that you've done the
That's
exhibition,
right. Yes.
and in
Hmm.
fact, almost everybody I've spoken to, the last 3 or 4 people I've spoken to, are this is the first time they've done the exhibition. Now you will find that the exhibition is, especially the private view night in particular, you will be blown away by the number of people that come, and also how knowledgeable they are and the questions they ask you. And what I would say is, particularly as you're as uh, you're as good as talking as I am, you make sure you have some water or a drink on hand, because you don't get a chance to do that. But what you will find is that, and this is the way that Lisa sets Flux up, is everybody involved, all the artists involved in Flux. She calls it her Flux family, but it's very true, um, because we all help each other. Everybody's lovely. Everybody just looks after each other, and you're genuinely really happy when someone sells, because that's what we're all there for. And
Hmm.
you'll have a great time, and you definitely will. And you're also, Catarina Diaz is also Portuguese, so at least you got someone else there from your and she was born in Angola as well, so at least you got someone there. If you get fed up with talking English, you can go off and talk a bit of Portuguese. But you will find it's a brilliant exhibition, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy yourself. I think this is my fifth now that I've done. I absolutely love it. It's probably the best. It's the best thing for the best exhibition art wise that I've done, where you're actually talking to a lot of people who can see such a variation of art, and everybody's different. That's the clever part of Lisa's curation, is that people are different, and her exhibitions flow. So there's no, you don't just say, oh, okay, we're going to stick him there and stick her there, and there's none of that. It's really, really carefully planned. I'm there all the week, because I help set it all up and hang the pictures, and uh, generally make a nuisance of myself. But I'm there for the week, and then the opening night, and then also I'm there for the 4 days of the exhibition, because I believe that it doesn't matter how good everybody is who's working around it, nobody can talk about your work better than you. And so
Yes.
that's why I stay there. But so which part of the country are you in? Whereabouts do you reside?
Well, I live in Chatham in Medway, not far
Eh,
from London, only
Okay,
35
okay,
minutes
yeah,
away, so
yeah.
it's not that far.
No, not that far
It's
for
very
you
good.
to come, but
Mhm.
also, yes, I spent a few years living in Kent myself, so fully
Mhm.
aware of where that is. In fact, I've done a few exhibitions in the Chatham boat dockyard, so
Mhm.
that was quite interesting too. But well, our time is actually, believe it or not, our time is up. I can't believe how quick that's gone, but it's absolutely zipped by. What will be good, probably, I mean, I'm booked up with this for quite a few months actually, and I'm getting more and more people asking me if they can be interviewed and come on, which is great. It doesn't necessarily mean that a lot of people, in particular at the moment, watch it when it's live, and that's because also, all the other things that are going on in the world at the moment. But it's on YouTube. It's on there forever, and this series is going to carry right through for as long as I can. I want to keep doing it, basically. But I think I explained to you that one of the reasons is to showcase people like you, to actually an interview, get a little bit of an in-depth inside the brain of Paolo for people who understand. And I think we've managed that. We've managed to get in that little bit of space you've got left in there. We've managed to get into that. So so I'm looking forward. Thanks so much. Don't rush
Thank you.
away. We'll have a chat afterwards. But
Mhm.
thanks very much for coming on. It's been very insightful, and I've learned so much about your work. And I'm really looking forward to meeting you at Flux, and we can have a really good chat. So thanks very much for coming on, and I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
Just a second before I turn off. Happy birthday to
Oh, tomorrow,
you.
yeah.
Yes,
Yes, that's
tomorrow,
right.
Gary.
Yeah,
Yes,
tomorrow.
special day
God,
for you
yeah.
tomorrow. Yes, but
Ah, I
couldn't
don't know
miss.
about special, but yeah.
I couldn't miss this moment and
No, well,
singing live.
I'm going. Well, I know how much Lisa likes her food, and but she'll be pleased to know that I'm going for lunch in Cambridge tomorrow with my wife, and we're also actually, we don't live too far from Cambridge, and every time we go to Cambridge, we say we're gonna have a walk around the botanical gardens, and we've never done that. So tomorrow we are. It's part of the university, and you pass it when you're coming out of Cambridge. And so tomorrow we're going to have lunch, and then we're going to go and have a walk around the botanical gardens, and then at the weekend, it's also my wife's birthday because we're only 2 days apart, and we've got all the family coming. We've all got all the family coming on Sunday for a barbecue, so we're going to have a good time. And then next week, one of the reasons why I said right at the beginning, next week's event will be on Wednesday instead of Thursday. I've got some people coming up, and I've got next weekend at the British Grand Prix. So, admittedly, there are probably a lot of people who probably think you must be mad. That's boring, but actually, it's not. It's fantastic when you're actually there. So, very much looking forward to that, and very much looking forward to Flux. Can't wait. It's only a few weeks now, and so as I've already said, let's get some. You can wait and get your tickets. But for now, thanks very much for the happy birthday.
That was a
And
surprise.
yes, I will be. But I will really look forward to seeing you in a few weeks' time at Flux, and
Thank you very much.
we can have a great chat.
This is
Thanks
a
very much, Paolo.
yeah, this is a fantastic idea to create this new way to promote the
Mm.
artists and bring artists together. This is fantastic. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to Lisa. This is fantastic. I'm really looking forward to see you personally.
Yep,
Yeah,
and
this is fantastic.
Lisa said the same. See you both soon. Yeah, fantastic. So it's nothing more for me to say, but thank you very much, and don't run
Thank
away.
you.
We'll have a chat afterwards.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I'm going to just say goodbye to everybody and tell them what's happening next week. Thank you. So I told you it'd be interesting, and it was. What a great man Paolo is. Really looking forward to seeing him in a few weeks' time at Flux. As I've already said, you can get your tickets via Eventbrite. You don't actually need a ticket as such for the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you're in London and you're stuck for anything to do, and you're thinking, "Oh, fed up with looking at the same old stuff in London," well, come along, because it's not like you're seeing the same old stuff. It's a fantastic exhibition, and this is the I think the 11th version of Flux. It's such a great exhibition, and Lisa does a brilliant job of it. So I'm going to leave you with a little quick video of what Flux is all about, and I will say next Wednesday, not Thursday next week, next Wednesday for the tulip photographer. Her work is amazing. So see you again next week. Thanks very much.